Love that. Thank you so much for sharing. This was very honest, very authentic. I love the message about therapy, self-care, and also in terms of taking too much stuff on, think about how we play those roles in our own families. That's something I would point out. That's something I need to pay attention to as well. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So now we are going to switch gears a little bit here. We're going to have a lightning talk from Civilla, a nonprofit out of my home state of Michigan, out of the D, otherwise known as Detroit. And I'd like to hand it now over to Flo, whom I believe will be introducing her, that group right there. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Flo. Shortly, we'll give you a quick presentation about Civilla, but I do want to recognize the importance of the conversation around mental health, because this struggle is very real. And with that said, I'll have Kristen tee up our slide. And the intention is just to give you a view of some of the human-centered design work that we're doing here in Detroit and beyond. Full disclosure, a few of us will have to hop off quickly once we're done, but we hope to be back on later today and tomorrow. Okay, as I said, my name is Florence Noel. I'm the design director of Civilla, and I'm accompanied by
Everett, design specialist at Civilla.
I'm Kristen Uroda. I'm a design researcher at Civilla.
And as it was mentioned earlier, a little bit about us. So Civilla is a nonprofit design studio based in the beautiful, powerful, resilient city of Detroit, Michigan. Let's be clear. And we believe that there is untapped power in public serving institutions to create social change on a massive scale. To give you a sense of what I mean, I'll give you a moment to take in this photo, or this image rather. I think many of us have been that person on our own trail, looking at the little paths that they created and realizing, no, that's not gonna get me where I need to go in the time I need to get there. So it's a reality familiar to us. And what we see with this image is how often institutions will spend time and money building these elaborate paths. And then people like me, like you, the people we care about, have to build our own. Yet the reality is that millions of us, we depend on these public institutions throughout our lives, especially in times of need. So what this inspired in Civilla 7 years ago is a question of what would happen if we spent time trying to partner with institutions to put upfront understanding what people need and building a more direct and useful path informed by that understanding. But when I talk about Civilla, I want to give you a sense of who we are. In Detroit, we are a motley crew of researchers, designers, strategists who hail from a myriad of backgrounds, including inside, outside, and around design. And that ranges from music, nonprofits, ed tech, space, government, public health, to visual art, environmental science, fashion, to anthropology, entrepreneurship, community organizing, and truly more. And what it allows us to do, having these myriad backgrounds, is to come together in our approach, where we contribute our perspectives, our areas of expertise towards a human design practice that can center and collaborate with those most impacted by our public serving institutions. A lot of us talk about design and may mean different things, so I wanted to give you a high level of what we mean when we say human-centered design by walking you through our process on a very high level. There are 4 phases. And in phase 1 is research, where we strive to understand the user journey, the human experience of people on the front line within the institutions and people who are depending on these institutions through deep user research and best practices. And then in phase 2 is where we design, prototype, and test, as well as iterate solutions that have come up through the research that we've been doing close to people on the front lines, inside and outside the institutions. In phase 3, we test these solutions on a small scale by piloting it so that we can continue to understand what's working, what's not, iterate, measure outcomes, and then improve those designs to demonstrate impact. And then finally is implementation, phase 4, where we partner with these organizations to devise a plan to create readiness within the organization to deliver this impact at scale. I'm gonna turn it over to Scott, and he'll give you a sense of what we mean about how this human-centered design approach has been put to work with institutions across the country?
Yeah, so first off is the MDHHS 1171, which happens to be the longest public benefits application in America, at 40 pages long. It had 18,000 words and over 1,000 questions, such as what is the date of the conception of your child? And is it possible that your child has more than one father? Pretty problematic. In the fall of 2015, we partnered with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to redesign the application and work closely with the Michigan residents and caseworkers who interacted with these forms on a regular basis. After developing a prototype, we spent hundreds of hours speaking to and observing these clients and caseworkers to ensure that the application would meet their needs. So before the form could actually go live, we had to pass it through 1,700 pages of departmental policy manual and 6 months of policy reviews to ensure the application met all federal, state, and departmental requirements. That resulted in a newly designed application that happens to be 80% shorter in length and 50% faster to process for caseworkers. We heard Michigan residents say, after filling out the new application, I feel like I can breathe again, which is awesome. But we weren't going to stop there, and we're just getting started. So here's another design that we created for the state of Michigan Secretary of State. This design ushered our residents to go online and renew their license plates and IDs, opposed to standing in long lines for hours at our already crowded and understaffed office. So in the fall of 2019, we took our learnings from Michigan and partnered with the Department of Social Services in Missouri to create a faster, simpler, and more human-centered application, notices, and renewals for Missouri's safety net programs as well. Lastly, for this presentation, we dove into some culture work where we helped the U.S. Probation Department of Eastern Michigan streamline a complex task-based assignment process while mending broken relationships within their offices. We prototyped a collaborative team structure to cultivate cohesion between the clerks across the department and making sure that these tasks were distributed fairly in an efficient way, while also maintaining communication with one another, but also just seeing each other as humans. So now I'm going to pass it off to Kristen to tell us where we're going.
Yeah, so as we've just been continuing to partner with institutions across state and other projects, our tiny team has been able to see some really amazing changes happening. And with our goal to reach 1 billion people through institutions, so we knew that we couldn't do it alone. So we created Practica, which is a collection of online courses designed for staff, leaders, and advocates who want to build institutions that put humans first. So we know that this kind of change work can be intimidating. So Practica aims to demystify the human-centered design process for public institutions by centering proven methods and case studies from our own work, and then prompting learners to apply their new skills to activate projects of their own. So in Practica courses, we cover things like Human-Centered Design 101, how to do research and interviews ethically and centered in DEI principles. And then we even touch on certain graphic design principles that can be applied to applications and forms like colors, fonts, and ADA compliance. And while we're currently in the pilot phase, which means that courses are self-led and asynchronous, eventually Practica will support cohort learning and collaboration across institutions and other groups to create a network of like shared learning, ideas, and support. We're really excited about where Practica has landed and the feedback that we've been getting from current learners. It's only been live for just a few months, but there's already over 70 learners across 29 states that you can see highlighted on this map. And it's even reached Canada and Europe, so that's pretty cool. Our learners are coming from a variety of institutions, like some are working directly in city offices as urban planners, some are policymakers, others are legal advocates, And that by sharing what we've learned along the way doing our work, we hope that we can help these change makers grow their capacity and collective impact within their own institutions, communities, and places of influence. And that makes us curious to know, for those that are here with us, how are you weaving human-centered design into the institutions in your community? What parts are you playing in creating a civil or more civil society for all? Please tell us all about it by connecting with us. You can reach us on social media at places like Instagram and Twitter at Civilla Detroit. You can visit our website at civilla.org and find out more about the work that we've done. And we'll also highlight certain other stories that we're hearing about change makers throughout the state. And you can also sign up for our newsletter through our website, where we share what we're doing and also highlight great things that we're hearing of people just helping our world become a better place. So that's us. Thank you for listening.
As I shared, we'll have to hop off. So if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out through those channels. And also know that we had job opportunities that closed, but there's a small chance they may reopen. So if you're interested in this work and you're interested in Detroit, definitely keep your eyes on the channels we share.
Detroit.
Thank you, y'all. Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Civilla. Love that. And I love hearing about all the wonderful things going on in Detroit, which there are many. Are we all set now? Let's see here. So it looks like